Porzingis showed off some of his skill and didn't limp off.
Staying healthy is key, and he was listed before the game as questionable with Achilles tendon management.
Mm-hmm.
So you worry about that every time he goes out there, but when he's out there, he sure looks good.
What'd you think of Kristaps Porzingis?
I think that it was exactly what I thought. He played about 17 or 18 minutes, and the first, 4 or 5, he looked like a guy who hadn't played in months and had never played with the teammates. It was rough, and then after that, he got more involved in the game, and you saw the sweet stroke from the outside, and he played pretty much like I thought he would play, and it's fun watching a guy who's that big and that skilled, and as he gets more comfortable with his new environment, hopefully he's able to keep that illness at bay and, put in a real shift this year.
Yeah, I think I thought it was great. I'm with you. Like the first stint, that first 4 minutes in the second quarter, you're like, woof. You kind of look like a baby giraffe out there, kind of. People were flying by him and all of that, but his shot was essentially there, and I think that there's really only just kind of 2 things that are there for our reaction, which is one, yay, that dude is really, really tall, and so that's wonderful because the Warriors have always been size challenged, and so that's wonderful in terms of fit. And then the other side is, and I think this is where most people were, I don't think we had a whole lot of questions about what Kristaps Porzingis can do on a basketball floor. It's just like I have now likened him, and we can get to this a little bit later. To me, the experience of Kristaps Porzingis and Ricky Paulson is essentially the exact same thing. I have no questions. I think you are insanely talented, wildly successful in your sport. You just need to be out there. And I know some of you will be like, Ricky has not proven that yet, and you can have your opinion and I'll have mine. Porzingis showed off some of his skill and didn't limp off. That's my reaction.
Yeah.
He got to the end of the night and said this.
I felt all right. Far from being in perfect shape, but I think for first game back after a while, getting some energy back, feeling good.
There you go, feeling good.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
Yeah, it's it, and staying healthy is key, and he was listed before the game as questionable with Achilles tendon management. Mm-hmm. So that's always a scary one, especially around here. We had a really tall, skinny guy who had an Achilles issue, and then he blew it out in the finals. So you worry about that every time he goes out there, but when he's out there, he sure looks good.
I know that this is on a lot of people's minds, and I think it's just born out of frustration with the lineup that you're looking at, and so that's fair. But if you believe that the Warriors have the horses right now, they're just being misused, I respectfully see it differently than you. This is not a use the horses differently. This is you don't have horses.
Right. And you started Pat Spencer and Guy Santos, and I don't want to come down on either one of those guys because they've been good contributors at times this year, but those are 2 of your starters, and they're not good enough to be starters. Guy played 32 minutes. He played pretty well, but you need to have those guys be your 9th and 10th and maybe even your 11th man, and right now you don't have that luxury. No Jimmy and no Steph. Then you have Draymond Green, who's playing, quite frankly, very poorly. And so now you're running out of guys to just play. So you've got to go to Guy and you go to Pat and all the rest of them.
I think the easiest way for me to not make it sound like we're ripping role players, because that's a tough.
Yeah.
What
in any sport, you rise and fall with your stars.
Right. It doesn't mean that, I like Guy Santos and Pat Spencer. I think this is what Guru's been trying to say. I like those guys. They can do some things out there, but they're miscast. Everybody has to fit in their spot. They got to get in where they fit in. And right now, guys are all getting in where they don't fit in. So if you're healthy, what you're being asked to do is too great. And if you're not healthy, then you're not healthy, and therefore you're not helpful. And so I would bet that Steve Kerr and every staff member, and I'll count myself as a fan among these, I'm open to any lineup. I am definitely open to changing it. I am becoming very pro don't start Draymond.
Yeah.
You keep getting off to bad starts, and he keeps being minus 15. I don't know if it's just him, but I'd give it a look. I'd give anything a look. But my sense, my bet is this is not a rotational issue. this is a roster issue top to bottom.
It is, and I don't know if now would be the time to pull the plug on the Draymond Green portion of the season, because when Steph comes back, Steph loves to play with Draymond. They work really well together, but maybe temporarily you try something different. And he was just a -4 in the first quarter. They were a -4, and nobody in really the first quarter played great for the Warriors. And, you get out to starts like that, and then Draymond Green never got engaged further. Moses Moody's in a little bit of a funk as well. So I don't know if you want to totally change up the lineup, but maybe Moses is a guy who needs some time coming off the bench.
Yeah, he's struggling. His shot is very hit or miss. He's the reason they were only -4 at the end of the fourth quarter, though, or first quarter, because they were down by 10, and then they nailed a couple of threes, and they made it 4, and then Kristaps checked into the game, and they were down by 100 in 4 minutes. It was like wild. Kristaps, you got to give him a lot of credit for ending up at -4, because he was, boy, what was he just in that first 4 minutes? I feel like it was like -20.
Oh, in the second quarter?
Just in the second quarter. Like, he started the second quarter and the Warriors were down 4. I think I went to the bathroom and I came out and they were down by 17.
Yeah, he was a -19 for the quarter.
There you go.
And,
wow.
Most of the guys were -15. Spencer was, and Draymond was, and Moody was. That second quarter was ugly.
That was a flurry.
Yes.
Yeah, Boston came out and just Boston played great. Boston played great. You can always look at it from both perspectives. Were the Warriors guarding well? No, they were not. But I don't want to just not give Boston credit. They looked like a very together, well-oiled machine. They played great basketball. You could feel it. You could see it when you watch. Boston's over here kind of got rid of 4 of our best 5 players.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, we're the 2 seed.
That's right.
Yeah.
And, the way they've gone about it, and then they had Vucevic, and now they've got a team that it just all gels and works together, and that's what makes me just envious for the first time of a team like Boston, because right now the Warriors don't have that identity. And Steph is the identity. Steph is the culture. And when you had Jimmy, you could look at last year and say, okay, things were starting to click. You had the Kuminga cloud, and that lifted, but now you got Jimmy out and no Steph, and Draymond's declining rapidly, and here comes Kristaps. You're just throwing guys in and taking guys out.
I mean, look, first of all, Steph is going to miss more than 5 games. He started that off if Steph misses more than 5 games, then just sit him. He's going to miss more than 5 games because they've already announced that he's going to miss 5 games, and then they're going to reevaluate him, and I'm next to certain they're not going to be we looked at him, he's good, see you tonight. That's not usually the way it works. So he is going to miss more than 5. I'm going to keep suggesting that just go week by week with this. We don't need. There's no need to make this sweeping decision of if he misses 6 games, 7 games. Let's just do all the games. What I loved most about what Joe Lacob said to Kawakami was about the tanking and the draft and all of that. I'm much more let the chips fall where they may in a situation like this. I think that there is every possibility that the Warriors play hard the rest of the way. Try to play as well as they can. We'll see about their health. They're probably going to end up in the play-in tournament, whether they end up in the playoffs or not. The draft pick that they will get, you're going to have the opportunity, if you do it well, to get a productive player. Maybe even a really good player. There's that many in this draft. Yeah. So, okay, but what Joe Lacob, and I'll just paraphrase it, he's tanking and spending February thinking about the draft, not in our DNA, not in my DNA, not in this fan base's DNA. And I agree with him. It doesn't mean that there won't be certain points where you say, let's take a look at young players. That's fine. But the bait and switch of Steph's healthy and he plays 3 quarters and then the game is tight, and we go, all right, everybody who's good, head for the locker room. And then all of a sudden, here comes LJ Cryer by himself to play the fourth quarter. Don't do that. Just be a team. Be entertaining. Joe was like, this is sports. We don't do that. You go try to win. And by the way, if that's dumb, then I'll be dumb. I'm fine with that. I don't know. I don't even think about that. It's whether it's smart or not doesn't even matter to me. I'm just not interested.
Yeah, and they're not interested, and it's funny because Tim Kawakami points out in the article that they kind of lightweight did it. And I'm looking at the game log right now, 2011, 2012, where I think their pick was top 7 protected. So they needed to make sure they were among the 7 worst in order to secure that spot. And so I'm looking here, and they lost almost every game in March and April. Yep. At one point, they were 18-21, truncated season, and they wound up 23-43, which means they went 5-22 down the stretch.
Remind me, who'd they get there at number 7?
Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes, who,
contributed to a ring.
The Falcon, first. The first ring, and then you're able to, trades are hard, but you're able to trade him. So, I don't know, maybe you wind up at the 7 this time and you get a player that good, and Harrison's still playing, but they kind of have tanked. It was a tank-ish.
Right, and it was like right after Lacob had bought the team, and that is like, I don't know, to me that's a little bit more circumstantial, where you're like, ooh, specifically this pick, if we, right, that's, I don't know, that's, maybe there will be moments where I'd be okay with that, but this is not one of them. It's too early, and again, if you keep looking at the standings, I don't even know what tanking would do for you right now. It's just not even going to change your situation that much.
That's right. I mean, you probably wouldn't be able to get into the bottom 8, even if you lost every single game. So you play it out. I like what you were saying, what the caller was saying. You play it out. You let the chips fall where they may. You hope Porzingis stays healthy and fits. And I think that the real most pressing issue is the Draymond question, because, I mean, you can keep playing him and, have him go out there and not be very good, but it's tough right now, and I just don't know if the effort was there from Draymond, and that was rare.
Right. I'm with you, and I like that's what they got to figure out, what his role is, and that's why it gets me when you hear Joe Lacob say this is a core piece of this franchise. Well, I believe it can't be anymore. If you want to win anytime soon, and maybe they can't. They probably can't. Let's see what happens. I don't know where this is going to go next. But Draymond Green is a core piece of this franchise's history.
Right.
I don't think he can be a core piece of the franchise right now and be a great, great team. He's got a very specific skill set that they need. I'm not saying that he's dust. I still want him out there guarding Wemby if they end up in that series.
Yeah, and guarding the other team's best player as much as possible, but offensively, he's just kind of satisfied being a 3-point shooter, and that's not his strength.